now fighting over whatever that fish eagle was eating. Do you see that one chomping there? It is eating what the fish eagle was eating. Jandre, thank you so much for your quick work there. I'm actually hoping that they come back up like they did. They raised up a little bit. The little hippo has gone off to the backside of this adult that we're seeing, and this adult is eating whatever that fish eagle was eating. I only saw a bit of a skin, and it was so quick that I couldn't tell you exactly what it was. We can't confirm if I thought maybe what it was earlier. I mean, it could have been anything, but now this is a really important part to bring up. Hippos are not just vegetarians. Hippos are known for eating meat, and it's not something that we get to see every day. I mean, we've had this wonderful feed from the Mara for sort of the past 8-9 months, maybe almost a year. You'll have to correct me if I'm wrong on there, and I don't know if you guys have managed to get that on camera. But yeah, I mean, this is really, really, really special. Now, I have parked myself in a funny little position, but I want to stick with this visual as much as we can, and I want to see if maybe I can just back up the car a little bit in case they go at it again. You guys can hear, I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. It's because it's really super amazing what is happening here. I'm going to stop talking and move the car. Sorry, everybody. Just stick with me and hang on. So one of the reasons why we're maneuvering the car, for anyone that's just joined us, is Jandre and I have our roof on because of the rain. We obviously don't want anything to happen to our wonderful equipment, because then we wouldn't be able to broadcast you the way that we want to. So I also don't want to fall into the damn wall with all of my crazy parking. Okay. I'm just going to have to get just a little bit farther back. I also don't want to pull a Noelle move for the day and drive too quickly. Okay, this should be good. We should be able to have enough of an angle here. Jandre, are you feeling good about that? Okay. All right, let's see what's happening here. Let's see. I'm also going to put my binoculars on. That little fence that you can see in the background, that's the fence that protects the Chitwa Lodge from having, say hippos come up onto the lawn and maybe go up towards the rooms, just keeping guests a little bit safe. You don't want to bump into a hippo at night. So just excuse that little bit of the visual there. So that hanging skin that we saw, the one on the left-hand side of the screen was the one that was chomping. The one on the right-hand side of the screen was the one that had an absolute fit about that. Now they're sort of eyeballing each other from the side there. I'm very, 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 very keen to see if, and sometimes with something like this, we might never know the end result because we're only catching little pieces here and there. Every now and then we get the full story, but not necessarily the whole time. But it has calmed down a little bit for now. That, I don't know if you heard that. Could we hear that? So very faintly we heard a roar. That's my horrible elephant impression. So it sounds like there's an elephant coming towards the dam. I'm going to say, oh, the hippo is now getting up. I'm sorry. So I have such ADD when I'm on Game Drive because everything's fantastic. So we've got a hippo elephant that's making its way here, maybe a breeding herd, and then we've got this amazing hippo situation that's happening. All right, Jandre, call is let's stick with the hippos and see if we get more interaction that's going to come up here. And then, I mean, those elephants will come when they come, if they're going to come. I'm so curious about what's happening that I want to get out of the car and go over there, but that would be silly. So while we wait patiently, patience is definitely a virtue, we are going to link over to Scott, who has lions for us. We always love a lion. Hi, we're back. So you can see we still have our hippo that's chomping on whatever it is that was there. Now, I've got another mix that I want to put into it. There's a baby you can see there. Now, Gendre, if we pull to the right to that other hippo that's there, look very closely on her side and look at the size of that tiny, tiny baby hippo. That to me looks like a brand new from today hippo. I'm wondering if what that other hippo is chewing on is the afterbirth from that birth, which would make a little bit of sense. I mean, that's teeny tiny. It would also explain her behavior of trying to chase away that other youngster because this baby is so tiny. And if she gave birth right in that little shallow bit, that afterbirth would have come up onto the bank. The fish eagle would have seen that it was there, would have come down and started feeding on it. Now, if we pan back towards the other adult hippo, afterbirth, and depends on what your culture is, it depends on where you are, but afterbirth is really high in vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And so it's not unlike actually humans and other species to consume afterbirth. I know most humans don't do it, but it does happen from time to time. And for instance, when giraffes give birth, vultures come from all over quick to get at that afterbirth. So that to me is the best educated guess that I can possibly give. Because earlier we were saying, oh my goodness, maybe it might be one of the small babies that we saw earlier. But the small babies that we saw earlier in the week are closer in size to the youngster that's hanging out with the adult that's on the left-hand side of the screen. Not as tiny as the one that we just showed you previously. So we're going to go back and show you that little tiny one. I mean, that baby is eensy. Hi, I was just born today. I mean, look at it. Its ears aren't even out fully. It's really close to mom. And again, mom was being really aggressive to another member of her pod who she normally wouldn't be aggressive towards, who she would normally be a bit more jovial and accepting of. And I'm convinced now. So I cannot be 150% correct on this. I can't be 100% correct on this, but I'm going to give myself an 85 to a 92% on this one. That is the best thing I can come up with. And it's also difficult to have shown you because we weren't with us, but when the fish eagle was eating it and pulling, there was a lot of matter. And afterbirth is Gendre, what's my word? I'm trying to, it's sort of like pudding with the skin on it, but it's a little bit hard. I know that sounds really nasty, but it's a bit like that. Maybe really old pudding. All right, our fish eagle is coming in. Let's stick where we are. There's our fish eagle. Landed. Oh, look how tiny that baby hippo is. Okay, so the fish eagle finally has come back. He was put off by being chased away by the hippo, and then he was dived on by those plovers. So he's collected himself, and he's come back most likely to investigate to see if there's still anything to eat. As we know, that other adult hippo has taken away what we are assuming is the afterbirth from this birth and was chomping away at it. Now, that other hippo that we had there, she's got that other small baby, the one that's on the left-hand side. Thanks, Gendre. So for her to eat that afterbirth means that she needs a bit more nutrition to help nurse her baby than she's been getting. And part of that has to do with the fact that we have not had super proper rains yet. So we are not in a great capacity from a grazing perspective to be giving a lot of nutrients that's out and about. I know you guys can see a bit of green grass just behind where that hippo was, but it's not going to be enough. And especially with the size of the pod, I mean, I've counted at least 12 hippos here in the last few days that we've been here. They have to go far to get the grass, and the grass they are getting is not densely nutritious. Gendre, I'm in love a little bit with this hippo. I'm not gonna lie. And her, before this other one gave birth today, the other female needs to be nursing properly and to make sure that her baby can survive as well. Lou, sorry, can you just repeat the question one more time for me? Deep, you're asking, do hippos always give birth underwater? Lou, thank you so much for repeating that for me. As far as I know, yes. But Murphy likes to do whatever Murphy does, and nature does not read the books and does whatever it wants to do. So yes, as far as I know, that is a yes, yes, yes. However, everything is different and individual, so it wouldn't surprise me if every now and then, right at the edge, may be out there. But again, I mean, that fish eagle is busy eating the little bits of whatever was left there. When you're a mammal and your baby is inside, it is in liquid. So for a mammal that then spends 90% of its time in water and 80% of its time in water, to then get on land to give birth to something that's already in water would just seem a bit off. Also, when species give birth, they want to be in a really comfortable space, and so for a hippo, its special comfortable space is the water. So I'd be very surprised if it happened. Oh my goodness, picking up there too often. But you never know from time to time with extenuating circumstances. That's a really great question. Yeah, you see that there. You see that. Watch how the mum reacts. Sorry, I'm just putting my binos on and trying to see. Our cameras are so good, and I have such good field of vision. And the mom's putting the baby on the other side. There's a little thickney in front of that fish eagle coming to investigate a wee bit. And a little common sandpiper that's just there doing its own thing. I don't think it has anything to do with the fish eagle feeding. Okay, we're going to head over to Tristan. We've got a school who's going to be joining us for our last about 45 minutes of show. So let's give the kids a great introduction with Tristan, and we're going to stay here, Jean-Ray and I, with this fish eagle hippo scenario, and get back to us as soon as we can with any more action we might have to share. Enjoy Tristan of Hippo that has involved those fish eagles we've just shown now. So if we want to go towards the hippos here, fantastic. There we are. We've got a mama hippo, and there's a teeny tiny baby hippo that's just on her opposite side that was born today that we can't really see. And then if we just go a little bit left from her, we have another mama hippo who has a larger baby that's near her somewhere. They can stay underwater for about 10 minutes or so, sometimes a little bit longer. I've counted up to about 15 minutes at a time. There we can see the nose nicely there, ears and eyes. And so the youngster's probably down investigating and then coming back up every now and then to breathe and then going back down. So you can start to see her body a little bit better. Oh, beautiful. Having a look around. She's been having a few interactions with the female that's on the right. They've been fighting over what the fish eagle's been eating, which we think is leftovers from the birth from earlier. It's been a really interesting sighting. And hippo interaction on any level is amazing, because usually all you see is their heads poking up, and then we forget how large their bodies actually are. And they're usually quite docile, especially when they're in the water. But when they want to get going, they really, really, really get going. Now, while we're here and we still have somewhat decent light in this overcast and very cold and windy